us your name and your church affiliation.
I'm Yvonne Delk, and I'm an ordained minister in the United Church of Christ.
Okay. I want to ask some questions that deal with the immigration issue and also the African American role with that. First of all, just tell me what your thoughts are about the current immigration policy.
Well, my feeling is that this country has always been a country that says, and the Lady Liberty stands in the harbor, to say that all are welcome, and especially folk who have been struggling to come to a place where there's a possibility for a new life. And so my sense is that in the immigration context, we got other sisters and brothers who are trying to figure out a way for new life and are coming here. And my belief is that we ought to welcome them, especially folk who've been here for a long time. We've got children that were born here in this country and who ought to find a way that they can be received here as a part of the community that we call the United States of America. So I am for a much more liberal policy as it relates to immigration.
You know, there have been places like Prince William County in Northern Virginia where they've put together some tough immigration policies where they're almost racial profiling. What are your thoughts about those types of policies?
Well, see, the question is, are we for inclusion or are we for exclusion? And when you combine that with people's stereotyped ideas about other people, that becomes very dangerous. And then the policies are about excluding people we don't like. The policies about excluding people that we have biased opinions about. It's about excluding people that we would prefer not to have in the context and mix of our communities and in this country. So I'm opposed to those policies. I'm opposed to policies that are excluding, and especially based on biased ideas about other people. I work much more for an inclusion policy.
There's been a lot of talk about the immigration issue and the response of the African American church. What do you think that first of all, what the church's response should be, and secondly, African Americans' response to it?
Let me say this. As a people who have struggled ourselves to try to find our own voice, our own place, our own jobs in this country, it's always hard to feel like you're on equal footing. And so when others start coming in, sometimes it's a competition feeling that you might begin to get, that they're going to take the jobs that we feel we need, especially when you're still struggling for jobs, that they're going to take the reality of existence and make that the number one issue for them when we're still struggling for it. And so rather than to see this, the Black church, as a competition mode, it feels to me like we who believe in community ought to be trying to figure out how we connect the dots, not how we define ourselves over and against the dots, but how we connect the dots. Just as we have been oppressed in this country, this is another oppression tactics for others who are coming into the country. And so connecting in a way that allows us to fight for justice for all of us means that that's the way we build community. There's an African word that says, I am because you are, and because you are, I can be also. Black Church has been that community for us. It's been that place to help us figure out how we stand for justice. It's been an empowering place for us, but it's also been a place that's taught us how to love and how to be open for others. So my hope is that the Black church will be much more in an open-minded, not out of a fear mode, in terms of us being in competition, but in an open mode that would allow us to say we're companions on this journey, and injustice to you is also an injustice to us, and we're going to stand together to fight against it.
Okay, thank you.